welcome back to the Home Turf Podcast. It's me, Hunter Mitchell, joined here with my co-host, Cade Harris.
How we doing today?
To say it has been a tumultuous week here in College Station would be slightly an understatement.
Yes.
Um,
What a weird wake up on Sunday, right?
What a crazy wake up. I'm in Kyle Field till 1 in the morning. Get home, go to sleep, sleep till like 11. Whatever, I can sleep in Sunday. Wake up to every notification known to man about Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that was just, I don't know how to describe the feeling that I was feeling like when I woke up. Like, I was shocked, but not at the same time. Happy, but sad at the same time.
Yeah,
And
I mean, he was our coach for 6 years, so we kind of make fun of him a little bit, but he was here for 6 years. You kind of get a little bit of attachment to him.
I feel for him as well, and I mean the players who loved him too.
Yeah. Some other head coaching firings. Zach Arnett out at Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard, it's here like Pittman's got another year.
Really?
From what I've heard is hanging on by a thread.
Well, best of luck to them then in that venture.
Especially with how they shape up in our power rankings, which we'll get right
Yeah.
into. Starting the East. Our fun Vanderbilt fact.
Let's hear it.
Because we just are on the assumption that Vanderbilt is bad, and
Under the assumption
no, we
know.
Every week we just
We know.
assume Vanderbilt's going to be bad.
they got blown out by South Carolina.
We don't even want to really talk about them because it's the same old, same old. In 1961, a Vanderbilt freshman's basset hound named George chased the Tennessee walking horse, which was paraded around the field at certain points out of the stadium. George was elected as Vanderbilt's official mascot until he died in 1965, where he was chasing an ice cream truck and was ran over.
Sounds about like their football program. What in the world? When you had your reaction to that, that is not what I was expecting. That is the most obscure fact I've heard. Gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So there's your Vanderbilt fact. Now to 6.
Moving on to the team that absolutely mollywopped them this week.
Yep,
South
Carolina.
Carolina.
A win's a win, Theoretically, they could still make a bowl game.
Theoretically, yes.
Theoretically.
But will it happen? No. There's no way they beat Clemson in the last week. And I don't know who they're playing this week.
Kentucky.
But, there's no way they beat them too. Actually, there's a way.
There's a possibility.
That's it.
It's in Williams-Brice. It's a night game.
Okay.
Could be rolling. Could be rocking. Don't see it happening though. No.
Me neither.
It's the same old South Carolina. That offensive line has been absolutely garbage. Hot garbage, I should say. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of when we get to the bottom dwelling teams, they're bad for the same reasons they've been bad the entire year. South Carolina, man, just offensively is Spencer Rattler a bust. Good job for the defense. I mean, holding Vanderbilt to 6.
Hey,
I'm glad. I'm so glad I took Will Shepherd out of my starting lineup in recent weeks. Has been a good move on my part. Vanderbilt has
I would say so.
Not been able to score the football at all. You take this win for South Carolina feels like the wins that everyone's going to have this week, where you really can't draw anything away from it because it's like, duh.
Right.
You expect to absolutely drub Vanderbilt.
Right. It's like kind of going back to like the first week of the season, right? When we were just like, I mean, there's only so much we can take.
Yeah,
away from
we've kind of gone full circle because, I mean, we're not learning anything from Alabama beating Chattanooga.
No.
We're not learning anything from, A&M beating Abilene Christian.
Will we learn anything in the FIU Arkansas matchup?
If we learn something in that matchup, oh man.
Yeah, that would be a sad thing. If we learn anything in the matchups that we're looking at this week, it's sad.
Bad.
Because these are some pitiful matchups that we have. Georgia Tennessee is the best matchup of the week, and even then, I'm still not even that interested to watch that game. Really.
No, I think Georgia goes in and as I've said before on another podcast, I think Georgia does nigh illegal things to Tennessee.
You were wrong that time,
I
though.
was wrong that
Because
time.
Arkansas, hey, you said LSU was going to do that to Arkansas, and
And they
hey,
did it.
how about
They
them
hung around.
Razorbacks?
Yeah.
They
So
they
hey,
they
maybe
hang in there.
I'm putting a little bit of juju on
Tennessee,
Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see.
We'll see.
Don't think I am though.
No,
Next in line.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put them in. I don't know. It's hard to move them up because they got waxed by Alabama. Like that was tough, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to go between Florida and Kentucky here because
Yeah.
Florida got waxed by Kentucky, and then they lost to Arkansas as of recent. But Kentucky, they've just been really bad too.
Yeah. And I mean, we often give a little bit of brownie points for holding in against good teams.
Yeah,
Held their own a little bit against LSU, but man,
Mhm.
that Florida defense is bad.
yeah.
That Florida defense is terrible.
Those were two really bad defenses.
39
going at
against
it.
South Carolina, 43 against Georgia, 39 against Arkansas,
Ooh.
52 against LSU. Man, that Florida Gators defense is atrocious,
Yeah,
and it's going to be on full display these next two games.
yeah. They need some Viagra for sure.
You,
Moving on.
They need to harden up real fast, especially because you have Missouri on the road and then Florida State to close the season.
Yeah.
You need a miracle and a prayer to reach bowl eligibility now.
Mm-mm.
Your chance was Arkansas.
You did that.
You're gonna go 5-7.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate for Gators. You know, you'd like to see that. That bowl game, but hey, means James Madison's got a spot somewhere.
Let me ask you something. Wow.
James Madison deserves to be in over
I agree.
Florida. I'm not an SEC homer.
For sure.
James Madison would drub Florida if they played right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think James Madison wins by 17 if they play
Wow.
Florida right now. I think James Madison is that good. James Madison should be playing in a New Year's Six bowl game.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
They are they
Instead, I think they're going to give it to Toledo.
Toledo.
Air Force or something.
Toledo.
Toledo
It's not gonna be Air
like
Force.
10-1
Air Force
in the
lost to
MAC.
Hawaii.
Wow. I
Yeah.
did not see that.
Yeah, I know. Everyone, it's one of those things where the group of 5 team that everyone's like the Cinderella loses once, and everyone goes, I don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
They're like the toys. Like I don't want to play with you anymore. Just throw it
Toledo
away.
Toledo is 4 points away from beating Illinois from being 11-0.
Exactly, and that's why I on my poll that I do for student media, I have been consistently for the last like 3 weeks ranking Toledo.
I'll rank them.
Yeah,
I think they should.
yeah.
They pulled out a close one this week. I don't know if you
Yes.
saw that, but
Yes.
they
Which-
barely scraped by, but still they won.
They won, which is at the end of the day, if you look up and down the stat line. Now, mind you, again, they barely won. Bowling Green is their rival.
Mhm.
Rivalry games, as we
True.
know, are notorious for being absolutely like it does not matter who A&M LSU last year. It does not in rivalry games. The hatred can do some crazy things.
Mhm.
Toledo literally has a rocket pointed at Bowling Green Stadium. I'm not even joking.
That's crazy.
Outside their football stadium, they have a giant rocket that the angle and trajectory that is at is directly pointed to Bowling Green's 50-yard line.
Oh my god.
Yes.
What a rivalry.
Yeah, so they hate each other, which is, you expect. So, like, I think just pulling out that victory against a bowl-eligible Bowling Green team, and you're going to be playing the MAC championship against, you got Central. You better beat Central Michigan.
I would think so.
But you're playing that MAC championship. Yeah, I like Toledo in that spot. It should be James Madison though.
Yeah.
James Madison is smoking their competition.
I don't know how we got onto this whole group of 5 tangent doing SEC power rankings, but
Listen,
I think that's that group of 5 is probably about where you would look at the bottom of the SEC East.
That's what that's kind of like where we're at. I mean, like we're at that point in the season now. Where
I wanted to ask you, do you think Billy Napier is at Florida next year?
Yes, I think he gets one more year at least. I think if he really stinks it up next year, I think we're gonna get a situation similar to how it is or was with Texas for a while, where the window of opportunities to succeed is very small because of the reputation and resume that Florida football has historically. I think with Texas, I mean, Charlie Strong had 3 years.
Yeah.
He didn't even get a full recruiting class. Tom Herman, short tenure too. I think Florida's going to be the same way. I think Florida, the leash is very small, and the expectation to succeed is immediate. I don't think there's very many rebuilding years per se for Florida because of their history of winning national championships. Um, so I think Napier gets one. I think they make a bowl game this year. I think he gets. I think he can kind of unbutton his collar one rung to kind of air himself out a little bit. But I think if next year I think if Florida doesn't get, I would say even like 9-3 next year. I just think Florida needs to win next year for Billy Napier to be sitting comfortably.
Will be interesting. I wonder if they're going to be starting DJ Lagway if he sticks with them.
Yeah, and I mean, if Kirk Kignetti's still with James Madison, I'm telling you, I don't know how he's not a hot commodity right now in the coaching searches. Like, it baffles me. The only thing is that he has only been a head coach. Well, it's FBS now, but only 2 years in FBS
Right.
play, which that had no say in Chris Kleiman to Kansas State. Which, mind you, North Dakota State's a whole other demon in terms of FCS football. But I mean, look at James Madison, man. 41-13 over Georgia Southern, 29 over Marshall. Close one against Old Dominion, 30-27, 42-14 Georgia State, 44-6 Connecticut. You got App State and Coastal Carolina to close the season. Their two hardest games probably. Um, yeah, no, I think James Madison is by and large the best Group of 5 school. They're gonna most likely finish undefeated. I think Kirk Kennedy should be on more coaching radars. I think James Madison should be playing in the New Year's Six bowl game. But I digress. I digress all the way. I think we can jump to number 3 because we talked about Florida and Kentucky.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah,
Yes.
they're number 3 simply for the fact that they're better than all the terrible teams below them.
Yes. Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
like that's the only reason. Because man,
they had a chance to move up to 2 this week, but they just blew it, man. Blew it.
yeah,
They got blown out by the Tigers.
go
And
Tigers.
yep, they're where they need to be after
Yeah,
what
I
they've been
mean,
doing this season.
And we talked about it before the podcast. I will toot my horn a little bit. I did pick Missouri to outright win this game. Now, did I expect that to be a 29-point victory? No, I did not. Whatsoever, man. Shout out to the Missouri Tigers. Elijah Drinkwitz is SEC Coach of the Year. There's no doubt about it. That the turnaround for that Missouri team has been electric. Huge shout out to Missouri. That's a really dang good football team.
Never forget when I had them number 7 in the East in the preseason rankings.
If it makes you feel any better, I only had them 6. So we were, yeah. I will say you did have Vanderbilt ahead of this Missouri team. So we will leave it at that. That's why we gotta look back in these power rankings, man, because the climb from 7 to 2 has been a tumultuous one. But man, they made it. Missouri, that offense is electric with Brady Cook, Luther Burden. Their defense has been as advertised. Taking a little step back from last year, but I mean, last year they were like elite, and I mean now they're playing like a lot better competition. You had that win over Kansas State, which is degraded a little bit, but even still, I'd say Kansas State has been climbing near the end of this Big 12 season. Played Georgia close, which is looking better and better, especially after they just smoked Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So shout out Missouri, man. You deserve to be in a really good bowl game, I think. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see them heading to a New Year's Six likely.
Yeah, it's definitely on the table.
If they win out, I would say they're in a New Year's Six. Like, there's no way you can leave them out, right?
Depends on who from the SEC gets in. If it's only Georgia in,
True.
and then Bama was the only one out, I think Bama would take the SEC spot.
Well, I mean, SEC can have 2 spots.
But isn't there what are the tie-ins?
I believe that one would get sent to the Peach Bowl.
Let's look at the tie-ins. Rose Bowl is
Big Ten,
Big Ten Pac-12. Sugar Bowl is SEC Big 12. The Orange Bowl is ACC. This is funny. It's ACC versus Big Ten, SEC, or Notre Dame.
Not Notre Dame.
It lists specifically.
Yeah.
It says like or Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They couldn't put or independent or Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh wait, is Notre Dame? Because Notre Dame's about to be the only independent. Because Army's joining the American.
Yeah, and so was Navy, right?
Navy's already in.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, that's right. No, because BYU's obviously in the Big 12.
New Mexico State is in Conference USA.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
They just need to join the ACC.
Join the ACC,
What are they
man.
doing?
Quit being a loser.
Exactly.
Quit being a bum. Or join the Big Ten, maybe.
That
You're
would be
in
wild.
Indiana, where two other Big Ten schools are.
Right.
That's what, like, the ACC, okay, I get, fine. But, like, why is Notre Dame never considered to be, like, possibility in the Big Ten? They are literally in the state with two other Big Ten schools.
I mean, I would just only say that.
Yeah, because they play in basketball. But I just mean, like,
else.
I just mean, like, in general.
Right.
Like, how, like,
I understand.
Like, it, like, ugh. Notre Dame, you tick me off sometimes. Whatever. Whatever.
But
keep playing.
And then the Peach Bowl has a tie-in with the SEC as well, right?
We'd have to look at who's, like, let's see.
Because I think, I mean, you just listed the Sugar Bowl as an SEC tie-in, and so does the Orange Bowl.
The Cotton Bowl, the Cotton Fiesta and Peach Bowl have no conference tie-ins.
Okay, so there you go. So, I mean,
but we'd also have to see who is.
I think
what are the conference or what are the playoff games this year?
So you weren't even looking at
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the playoff games are. Well, I know Fiesta's not. I know Peach is not. Actually, Fiesta might be. Yeah, we're doing some research on that right now.
It's the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl.
Okay, so I would say that the Orange Bowl and the Peach Bowl are gonna get SEC teams.
Yeah, so that would be Bama
and
Missouri. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I saw a tweet from I think it was Pat Forty who said if Missouri wins out, they're gonna go to the Peach Bowl. Like they're pretty much guaranteed it.
Which would be kind of sick.
That'd be awesome for them.
Because I mean,
and it's not out of the realm of possibility that they win out. I would be surprised if they didn't win out.
Yeah, they didn't win out. That'd be bad news bears.
Yeah,
especially because you're right behind the number one team in the East. Georgia is Georgia and has been Georgia. They were arguably shaky to start the season, but now they're just Georgieing right now.
Yeah, they just took a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, a little rev the engine a little bit, but now they're just rolling over people.
Yep.
Not much to say there. And when they get Brock Bowers, they're doing all this without Brock Bowers.
It's insane.
Nuts. I need him back. I need him back this week so I can put him back in my lineup. Not gonna happen though. If he comes back,
not this week. You have a bye.
I know, but like if I get him back this week, get like a week of practice, kind of warmed up.
There you go. I got you.
Fingers crossed. Not gonna happen, but need Brock Bowers in fantasy. Shout out, other sports editor Kylie Stoner went 1-9 in our regular season for our college football fantasy. So check out, make sure to look out for her story on an A&M Rec League game that she'll be covering for her fantasy punishment. Should be a good one. Super excited to catch that read. But yeah,
you're not gonna want to miss that for sure.
Not gonna keep refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the West, the weird Wild West.
Yeah. So 7th is the team that lost 51-10 to a team that fired their coach.
And then
the next day.
and then fired their coach.
And then fired theirs.
Just implosion.
So are you saying you got Arkansas on your 7th?
No, I
thought you were about to woo pig suey on me.
No, I was just getting ready for it.
Oh. You love doing that, don't you?
It's so fun.
I will
say it's annoying to hear, but man, it's fun to do. Yeah, Mississippi State is just, that game was a snooze fest.
Snooze fest? I thought it was fun.
It was fun.
I thought it was fun.
In terms of a competitive game,
no, right.
Negative.
From a neutral fan?
From someone reporting, it's just like, ugh. Now, the stuff before the game was what made it real interesting, and that's what was fun about my recap. The decoy quarterback.
See, I don't even think that they were trying to do that. I really think that was just Boast had worn 14 in the past, and
I have some information I cannot delegate on this podcast that I will inform you about after.
Sounds great
about
to me.
why I think that is not the case.
Okay.
But it was off the record, so I won't disclose that.
Right.
But yeah, I'm pretty certain that it was kind of a gamesmanship thing. Which gamesmanship
That's
against
silly.
Mississippi State is really funny.
Really weird.
Jalen Henderson, man, what a performance by him. Came out there, balled out. Now again, take it with a grain of salt. It's against Mississippi State, who's bad. No starting quarterback. Will Rogers has been out. They have no identity, offensively or defensively. Yeah, no, they're the worst team. Now
you can do your little gimmick while I close my ears before they bleed.
Pig suey Razorbacks are garbage.
They're very garbage.
They're really bad. They are really, really bad.
Man.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah. that's our
expert analysis there. Arkansas is not good.
They suck.
They're bad.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
The expectations I had behind him with the season with KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders were that, man, they were going to be explosive offensively, and they're just throwing up duds.
Yeah. They scored 3 against that Mississippi State defense. A&M just scored 51 on with their third-string quarterback.
And they scored 10 against Auburn, the other team we have sitting in the bottom dwellers. Yeah.
Woof.
Man.
That's what happens when you have a pitiful offensive line.
Yeah, man. And it's reflective in every team that's in the bottom of each division.
It's true.
South Carolina, horrible offensive line, 4-6. Arkansas, horrible offensive line, 3-7. Like, you have to have a good offensive line to find success in the SEC. And man, Arkansas is reaping what they have sown so far, especially considering Pittman was an offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. But it's looking like he's going to hang on for a little bit. Maybe. If he loses to FIU, he's gone.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, there's no way. There's a snowball's chance in hell if he loses to FIU that he stays. If he wins FIU, you go 4-8.
Yeah, you're not beating Missouri.
Yeah, you're not beating Missouri. You go 4-8. You get ready for basketball season, and baseball, and then you just kind of pray. Next season is a different result with a new quarterback.
No, that's not what they do. They start hyping up their team like they're going to win the national championship that season. Arkansas fans.
Well, they're going to have to hype up a new quarterback. That's something they're not going to be used to.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like they should go portal somebody.
I feel like they'll probably pick up a portal.
Yeah.
A portal player.
Max Johnson.
Especially with Pitt. Oh, let's save that conversation for the football A&M football episode. But I mean, with if Pittman's on the hot seat, yeah, they'll go portal. They'll go try to get someone really experienced so that way, because he knows he'll have to win next year.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the opportunity to raise up a freshman unless he really, really believes in one. But yeah, and then hey, shout out the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, man, I was dogging on them at the beginning.
You were very dogging on them, and I had their backs.
I think it's because I didn't realize how good A&M's defense was.
Yeah.
So when I saw them in Kyle Field put up that performance against our defense, because I was like, I just watched this defense get destroyed by Miami, and you did this. Your quarterbacks can't hit anything, bro. Like Jay Fair was wide open on the sideline.
Yeah, I remember that play.
And I forgot his name. Why am I
Thorne?
blanking? Yeah, Peyton Thorne. He just threw him so badly, and I was like, wow, Auburn has a severe quarterback problem. And that's kind of where I was out on them. But hey, shout out
3 in a row.
They've kind of picked it up.
They've won 3 in a row.
48 points.
And are bowl eligible.
Wow.
And Hugh Freeze's first year. Who would have thought that we'd be saying they're bowl eligible?
Who would have thunk it?
But they are. Shout out the Auburn Tigers. Started conference play 0-4. Or at least they had 4 losses and they've won the last 3. Man, you love to see it. Maybe not some people love to see it, but yeah, you start out Lost to A&M, lost to Georgia, lost to LSU, lost to Ole Miss. Now, looking back retrospectively, that is a nightmare gauntlet to start to start to start your conference play.
Yeah.
But then you win the Mississippi State game, you win the Vanderbilt game, you win the Arkansas game.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're bowl eligible. You're going to be 7-4 going into maybe 7-4. I will say, maybe. This
Who are
New
they
Mexico
playing?
State game is not a throwaway, man.
I remember we were talking about
This
this.
New Mexico State team is not a throwaway team. Just be careful. Just be careful. I'm just saying. I don't think it's going to happen. But this is not a throwaway New Mexico State team. They are 8-3, are most likely going to play for a conference championship. Just saying. If you're Auburn.
We'll see.
If you're Auburn, don't
sleepwalk.
I may hit up Tar and be like, "Hey man,
What's the feeling?
how you feeling? How you feeling about New Mexico State? How you feeling with the Aggies? Haven't had good success against Aggies." Just saying. I'm not predicting it, but if it does happen, I'm saying I predicted it.
You'll take full credit.
But if New Mexico State loses by 63, I'm not gonna have any association with that with that pick. And then the team sitting in the middle, floating in mediocrity, Texas A&M. Had a great performance from Jalen Henderson. Huge.
Wow.
You love to see that. Man has wheels.
Yes.
Man is fast.
Mm.
As a mobile quarterback I've ever
Good
seen.
decision maker too.
Yeah, he did not make any poor decisions other than like the one sack to get out of field goal range.
Yeah.
Other than that, really good decision making. You get a good warm up game for your new interim head coach against Abilene Christian, which was the intention. You could tell that was the intention. Ross Bjork, kind of AM's athletic director, kind of informed that they wanted to give Elijah Robinson a game under his belt before they went all the way to LSU, which is a tough one. But this team underperformed even after going 5-7 last year. Has underperformed this season. So I mean, I did not expect it this season. I don't think either of us did. I think we both expected next season to be like the make it or break it. We talked about it last episode. That shocked me.
I think
it's a bold.
It shocked me that they did it. Yeah,
it's a bold move, and I appreciate that. And I have been verbally like I've said it before. Ross Bjork is not afraid to make very bold moves, and that's why everyone understandably is very upset about his contract extension of Jimbo Fisher, which understandable, should not have. But one thing I really like about Ross Bjork is that he is not afraid to like cut the cord on coaches that other athletic directors I think would let go too long. My running theory, and this may be completely wrong, I don't make assumptions, I think that Gary Blair was informed he should probably retire instead of having to make a stink about him possibly getting fired or his contract not getting renewed. I think he was informed he should probably retire. He agreed, obviously. JoJo Earl, who's been at A&M forever, one of the most successful softball coaches.
JoJo Earl?
Earl?
You're talking about the
softball.
Oh, that's JoJo Earl is the wide receiver from Alito who went to Alabama. Oh gosh, it's Joe something.
Am I? Oh, I am, dude. I'm in a wrong state of mind.
Joe Evans.
Oh
right?
Yeah, dude. Whoa, man, that's a weird slip up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Evans.
Yes.
She was at A&M forever.
Yes.
Now at UC Santa Barbara, but I mean, she was there forever, and so you get kind of the what's his name?
G. Gary?
No, Kansas State. Bill Snyder.
Oh, Bill Snyder.
You get kind of the Bill Snyder effect, where like you get kind of mediocre at the end. Easily could have just let her ride out for a little bit longer. Cuts the cord. Smart move. You get Trisha Ford in. Better head coach. Mm-hmm. At least newer head coach with newer experience. Childress.
Yeah.
Same way.
Yeah.
Ross Bjork is not afraid to cut the cords.
Pulled the plug pretty quick on Bird as well.
Yeah, and I think he's smart about that, so that's what I like about him. But obviously A&M, you've got a a rough close this season, finish out a bowl game, and start a head coaching search.
Mhm.
Now, similarly to our similarly to our East, the number 3 team is simply there because they're better than teams below them. But by God, they are not. I don't think they're. I don't think Ole Miss. I think they play LSU again. I think Ole Miss.
Beats them.
I think Ole Miss loses.
Ole Miss loses.
I think LSU wins.
Yeah,
I frankly have no idea how Ole Miss beat LSU.
because LSU's defense is absolutely atrocious.
It's terrible. Yeah, I know how, but like I still I don't know. I still think
So you're saying you have Ole Miss in your
I have
in your
Ole,
3?
I have Ole Miss my 3
I
after
have
getting.
LSU in my 3.
You have LSU in 3 after Ole Miss got smoked.
Yeah, I do. I even after that, I think LSU, the same thing would happen to them if they played Georgia. The same thing. It's so hard to bump them down after playing like that to Georgia.
Yeah, I mean it's ifs and buts and coconuts. I mean like it we don't know what would happen if LSU
Right.
played Georgia, so I can get that argument. I just didn't think I don't think Ole Miss looked good against A&M defensively. I don't. Their offense is good against teams that they can exploit, like A&M's poor secondary. But then you go against teams where their secondary is good and they can't make plays,
True, like Bama.
like Bama, like Georgia, like teams with good secondaries. They get so lost
Yeah.
offensively.
Yeah.
So that's why I think LSU can still do that. Now defensively, they're obviously not. They're like not the same caliber.
Mhm.
But that's why I have Ole Miss my 2. I think Jane Daniels is a better quarterback than Jackson Dart. Mike would make that guarantee that he is. I think they have more weapons. I think Malik Neighbors is a dog. Is a dog. DAWG. Dog. Yeah, I mean it's kind of a weird 2 and 3. I think, especially with like it's already played each other. But I just feel like I have a little more faith in LSU to pull those big wins away. I think Ole Miss. When's the last time Ole Miss has won a big football game?
Probably the last time they beat Alabama, whenever that was, in those 2 years back to back.
I can't name a significant Lane Kiffin victory.
No, I mean, the most significant might have been last year at Kyle Field, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe this year them winning in Oxford against us.
yeah. I think LSU has a propensity to win bigger games more than Ole Miss does. That's why I think that's why I put Ole Miss in my 3, LSU in my 2, and then number 1, obviously Bama. Bama's
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, Bama is bamming right now. Jalen Milroe has risen to the occasion.
We already know who the SEC championship's going to be. It's
Yep.
already set in stone.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Hope everyone's
surprise.
ready for another Georgia Bama
So it reminds me of that meme video where it was back when Golden State and the Cavs kept going to the NBA
Yeah.
Finals, and it's like 2063 starting lineup for the Cleveland Cavaliers in this NBA championship. LeBron James has received cybernetic enhancements to become a cyborg. It's like that, man. We just get. It's just
Nick
Bama,
Saban, Kirby
Bama,
Smart,
Georgia,
over and over
Bama,
again.
Georgia, Bama, Georgia. I mean, we had LSU, Georgia, and that one wasn't pretty.
No.
So I mean, but yeah, it's Bama, Georgia. Bama looking like if they can't pull this championship game out, Bama looking like they don't have. I even think if they win the SEC championship game, I don't even know if there is a spot in them. That top
Making the playoffs?
yeah, that
I don't
top
think
in
so.
the playoffs is so like tight right now.
It is.
It is packed. I mean, Washington State's trying to enter the Washington should be in the elevator right now, but they can't squeeze in. There's simply not enough and no reason to move them in when I think they should be in.
I mean, they're 5 right now solely because Ohio State and Michigan haven't played yet. I think once that game happens,
Do you think
Washington's into the 4.
I think that is their excuse to get in.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, if Washington goes undefeated, you're undefeated in the Big Ten. You're undefeated in
SEC,
the SEC.
undefeated in the ACC, undefeated in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. I mean,
which is really how it should be in
Yeah.
most cases, I think.
And then the only way the Big 12 gets in is if one of them were to drop. What's interesting to me is if we get an 8-0 Washington or a undefeated Washington, undefeated Florida State, undefeated either Ohio State or Michigan, and then what do you do if Bama were to beat Jordan in the SEC championship? Does Texas get in? Does the Big 12 champion get in? Does cause I don't know if you put in that Alabama team. I really don't.
I don't know if you could jump them up all the way from 8 with wins. Their last 3 wins would be against Chattanooga, Auburn, and then the only relevant one. That's jumping them up.
I think if Bama beats Georgia, we won't have an SEC team in the playoffs. I think that they're going to use the head-to-head of Texas over Bama, and they'll put if Texas were to win the Big 12, which it's likely to happen. Although they got a tough one this week, really, really close one, and I actually predicted them to lose. So even though I'm kind of contradicting
Who they got this
myself
week?
here, Iowa State in Ames.
You have wow.
Look at Iowa State these past couple weeks. Now maybe not before BYU, but Texas is really, really bad in Ames, and Texas is
This
also
is true.
pretty overrated in my opinion, and they've been scraping by a couple games recently. The Houston game, the Kansas State game, this past week against TCU. TCU almost came back and beat them. They've been scraping by, and I think Texas goes into Ames and loses.
They are on a 1-2. They've won 4 of their last 5.
And Iowa State, they dogged BYU last week.
They did. Could be a real interesting one in Ames.
It's interesting. Texas has lost the last 3 of 4 in Ames.
Talking to one of the sports editors from I think I'm talking to him tomorrow. I'm gonna ask him about the game.
Yeah. No. So kind of getting back to where we're at, it's gonna be really, really interesting to see how they do decide the playoffs if Bama were to win the SEC championship.
Wonderful part of the year, speculation and controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to have it next year, unfortunately.
No,
I mean, we still will.
They still will.
There's still
going to be controversy and speculation. It's just going to be like if you're that far out, it's like come on now.
My pick or my suggestion, you get 64 teams in.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy. You're crazy, bro.
Listen, it seems to work, man.
You're crazy.
Seems to work, man. I don't know. I'm just a basketball guy. What do I know? But that's it for this week of our SC Power Rankings. Thank you for listening. I'm Hunter Mitchell.
I'm Cade Harris.
We'll catch y'all next time.